everyone. I am Sandylu Guerrero of Life's Trace Coaching, your transformational business and life coach. And you are watching Transform Your Life with Sandylu and Friends. Thank you for joining us. It is, what day is it? I already forgot. March 27, 2018. And we're already in the beginning of spring, and today felt like summer. Today was, it was like really warm and hot in summer. I think it was like in the 80s, right? I think I was out and about. It was about 80 degrees here in Southern California. We're here in South Pasadena at Jade's Fashions in South Pasadena. I want to say thank you to our sponsor, Marianne, of Jade's Fashions here in South Pasadena for sponsoring our show for today, and for also providing us a really awesome location to film today's show. So thank you. If you haven't visited
really
Jade's,
comfortable.
yes, if you haven't visited Jade's, you definitely,
atmosphere.
ladies, you want to come here. They have beautiful stuff.
Beautiful.
Not the common stuff you see in the street, in the stores, and good quality and great prices. So you definitely want to come and check it out. And gentlemen, if you want to get something special for one of your wife, your girlfriend, someone you're dating, this is a great location to get something unique and very great quality and
great
feminine,
quality.
right? There's a lot of great stuff here, like super feminine, beautiful,
There's even, like workout clothes.
stylish, yeah, stuff that you would see in a magazine, right?
Accessories, super cute accessories.
Exactly.
Yes.
So thank you again for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and log into my tablet really quickly. If you are just joining us, you're watching Transform Your Life with Sandylu and Friends, and today's show is Millennials in Business and Entrepreneurship, and I've had the privilege of meeting these wonderful young millennials, and I feel like I'm one of them, just saying. I tell them I'm in my 40s, but I feel like I'm in my 20s, but anyway, that's my story. So anyway, if you're joining us, you're watching Transform Your Life with Sandylu and Friends, and today I have some really awesome guests. I have and I'll give you more information on them in a bit, but I have Amanda Barajas, Sandra Williams, and I have Rigo Gaxiola, and I'm just so excited about this show because I've been talking to my friend Carmen about this. I was saying, like, I gotta get a show with the millennials. Because I see everything that you're doing, and I am like motivated, inspired, and like I'm always learning from everyone. Like I'm a sponge, and I really feel that it doesn't matter how young, how old, how rich, how poor, how quote unquote educated or uneducated you are, that there's something valuable that we all have to offer to the world. And so I'm always learning from everyone, and I love to cheer people on. Like, maybe I don't say yay to everything, but trust me, I'm looking and I'm like super excited when I'm seeing people really, like, there's people that say they do, that like they feel, oh, I'm so happy for you, like are superficial, but I honest to God like am, and those that really know me know that that's who I truly am authentically.
Thank you for that.
So I'm really like excited to have you on. I'm gonna say hi to a few people. I realize I still haven't logged on because I'm already like in it. Let me lower the volume here. Hello, Rochelle Schaefer. She says hello, Sandylu. Hello, Camille, Christina. I can't see everybody that has joined us for some reason yet, but anyway, it's a Facebook thing. But thank you for joining us. You're watching Transform Your Life with Sandylu and Friends. I'm on every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we are here at Jade's Fashion, who has been our generous sponsor for today's show, and with my millennials in business and entrepreneurship today. And so I'm going to go ahead and get started, huh? Yeah, you ready to get started? And just hello. If you have any questions, comments, etc., please feel free to post. Send us some love, send us some hearts, send us some likes. Make sure that you share as well. You never know who is watching. It's going to be motivated, inspired, whether it's your kids, your nephews, yourself. Please repost. And everybody's in a different industry. So that's the awesome part about this, is that everyone has a different career. Yours kind of intertwined in a sense, but a little bit, right? But at the same time, it's just a great opportunity for everybody to get to learn from you.
We complement each other.
Yes, definitely. Like one has to happen for the other one to work, right? One doesn't happen without the other one, type of thing. Hello, Louis Davila. Hello, Janet Paredes of IET Capital. She's one of my clients, my friend. Like, I've coached her entire office. Like, she's amazing too. So you got to connect with her. You guys got to connect with her if you haven't already. And anyway, so I have these awesome guests. I'm gonna start off. Let's start with Rigo. Rigo. Hey, Rigo. So Rigo Gaxiola is a realtor that started his career in 2002. He works at Century 21 All Stars, which is the #2 office in the country throughout the Century 21 organization. That's really awesome. And I've been at that office, and wow, that's nice. That's a really impressive spot there.
Yeah.
Okay, and Rigo.
Joe's a good leader.
Broker, he really went above and beyond to make sure that that place looked like the Nordstrom of real estate offices.
He created the space to create big things.
Yeah.
He totally did. Rigo knew at a young age that he wanted to be in the real estate field. He was only 20 years old when he started his endeavor. He is married with 3 wonderful boys that support the sacrifices he makes to be able to help his clients achieve the American dream. It takes a lot of long hours and consistency. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
That's definitely one field. And Rigo has been recognized with many achievements, to name a few: Quality Service Pinnacle Producer, Centurion, I hope I said that right, Award. Centurion Award, Masters Diamond and Ruby Award. These are all awards that reflect his dedication to his clients and all as well as himself. He is goal-driven, and that is what fuels his drive to be able to create these outstanding results. He also knows he is an example to his boys, and one day they will be a product by example.
Did that make sense, or was it?
Yes, it did. I'm like, yeah, definitely, and I love that your bio says that, because I think that sometimes we don't realize that people are watching us, and for some of us people, or some people, it's your kids. You know?
Yeah.
So maybe you could tell us a little bit more about you, and I will talk more about you, but just a brief little.
So like Sandy said, yes, I'm in the real estate industry, and at a very young age, I remember being 14, 15, and I had a family member, an uncle, Oscar Campa, that was a lender, and I saw from where his beginnings were to where he was at that time in my life, successful, wearing suits, nice car, his family, he had a nice house, and I just thought to myself, like, wow. Growing up, I wanted to actually be an architect, and I always envisioned myself in a business suit and a briefcase. So when I was told that I could help families and sell houses, that, I said, well, and make a good living, that I wanted to do that. When I got into the business, it was very, very hard, but it all, like, I kind of was meant for it. And I have 3 boys, and they fuel me to do better every day and to improve every day as well.
Very, very, very inspiring. And your mom was an agent. Was your mom an agent while you were growing up?
Yes. So she got into the business as well through my uncle as well. She followed those steps, but that wasn't until later. She was maybe in the business for about 2 to 3 years before I got into the business. So I was 17, 16, helping her at open houses. And when I first started, it was very, very boring, because I was so young.
I was like, what am I doing here?
I was 19 years old, and it was just like a lot of responsibility, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. So I kind of took a step back and just do what 19-year-olds do, is just have fun. And then my wife got pregnant, and I knew that things got real, and I said, hey, I got to put on my big boy pants and go to work. And that was at 20, and I never looked back.
Wow.
And I barely made the cut for
He barely made the cut for millennials.
Barely qualified.
Yes, but you're a prime example, because I think sometimes people, and we'll talk more about this, about all the boxes that people put you in, and that's why I wanted to do a show, because I was like, people are like totally like underestimating and badgering and like practically bullying millennials for being millennials, like just because, so we'll talk more about that. But anyway, like, that's why it was like more like, that was one of my reasons that I really wanted to have this show. So thank you. And so
Thank you.
inspiring, especially because you do have boys,
Mhm.
and you are definitely an
Wow.
example. And one of the things that right now in the media, there's a lot of talk about gun control and about mental health, but what's not being talked about, and this is, people don't want to face themselves. It's those parents that are not emotionally in a good place that are raising these kids that are not okay. Either they're fighting with their mom and dad, they're fighting with their spouse all the time, or their ex-spouse, or they're still dealing with the mom and dad issues of when they were abused when they were a kid, and they have trouble parenting, etc. Like, a lot of what's happening comes from that. I work with those people, so I totally get it.
Starts at home.
Like they say, guns don't kill people, people kill people, right? But who's behind those people that have that moment of insanity, right? It's like it's a touchy subject because nobody wants to point at the finger, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
They're doing this, but
Yeah.
they don't realize 3 fingers are pointing back at you, and it might be controversial, and I might be pushing some buttons, but if I'm pushing them, an opportunity for you to look in the mirror and ask yourself, how am I responsible? Am I responsible? What do I need to do to better myself and improve myself and change my relationship with myself so that I can,
Self-check. Yeah.
exactly.
So to kind of piggyback on that, my kids are 13 and 16, so they're at an age right now where it's pretty crucial. One is in the 8th grade and the other one is a sophomore. And one of the things that I do, and by default, they have no choice but to listen to, I don't want to say motivational, but I want to say self-development, self-improving things daily while I get ready and take them to school. I listen to podcasts, I listen to YouTube, I listen to all the old school people like Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn, Anthony Robbins, and a lot of like the new ones like Gary Vee and Andy Frisella, and to kind of bring in the new school so that way they could kind of relate to that, but they're just kind of like, Dad, we're kind of like, geez.
Yeah, I remember that.
So,
It's a good environment.
But
Yeah.
it's what are you feeding? Like just like our our food intake. Well, if we're feeding ourselves crap, we're gonna feel like crap. If we're feeding our brain positive things, it's gonna be kind of hard for you to not think otherwise.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. I'm so I'm proud of you.
yeah, it
That's
plays a role
good.
because they're such good boys that, I mean, they're kids. They do things that they're,
They're
like,
growing.
don't clean the room.
Hey,
or
we
they-
do things as adults.
Yeah.
I mean, we're human beings. We're perfectly imperfect.
But overall, they're like, I haven't I haven't experienced anything like them being drunk or them experimenting with drugs. Like just like I'm kind of scared, but then I'm confident. Like, hey, you know what? I'm showing them such a good example, as best as I can. I'm not perfect, but that they're like, hey, you know what? We know the difference.
Yes. You see, for those of you that are talking about millennials, this is a millennial that's like really making a difference, like not only through his work, but in his household. And that's really important. Yeah. Some of the millennials are parents. And, we all get to choose how we're going to parent. So that's like, he's awesome, Mom. Like, I'm like so excited.
So cool.
Yeah.
I like and we have to give credit where credit's due to your wife.
Oh,
Yes, of course.
Oh, she's like the pillar and the rock behind our household. Like without her, she wouldn't allow me to do like the things that I do. It's like she keeps me in line, and even I'm human. I kind of detour a little bit, and and then she kind of like
She pulls you back.
yeah,
and
she keeps me balanced. So yeah, she's
very,
a big role.
very good. Very cool. Very cool. If you're just joining us, you're watching Transform Your Life with Sandylu and friends, and today's topic is millennials in business and entrepreneurship. Make sure that you share, like, and if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to post, and I'll be checking in with you all in a bit. But I'm going to go ahead and introduce my next guest, which is actually, we're going to go ahead and I realized that I took a picture of yours. So I have Sandra Williams, and she is the president of, I went blank.
Capital Direct Funding.
Capital Direct Funding. Oh my gosh. Yes, how could I forget? I just know she's a president. That's it. That's all that matters. Yes. She's the president of Capital Direct Funding, and I had the privilege of meeting Sandra like maybe about 2 years ago, and you were a board member for the National Latina Businesswoman Association, and I just saw what she was. I've been seeing what she's doing, and I've been totally like inspired, and like I just love watching what she's doing. And just the fact that I'm a daddy's girl, by the way, and you know, my dad, God rest his soul, but like I see that you work with your father, and like I just love that. Like I'm just totally like, every time I see a father with their daughter and they're like doing business and doing things, like I just love it. So you were already like, you were like at hello, you know.
Aw, thank you.
And I've had the privilege of meeting your mom too, and you just awesome family, and you know, just out there. You guys are out there doing things, and not only for yourself but for the community, and that's the awesome part of it. But let me read your bio. Sandra Williams, as a leader, is a leader in the lending community. Sandra Williams has established herself as a premier bilingual financial expert. Why can't I enlarge this? Because I can't see. Okay, there it is. As a bilingual financial expert that puts her clients first, she is the co-founder and president of Capital Direct Funding, Inc., a family-owned private money lending company based in Los Angeles. Sandra is integral in every facet of the business, including managing finances, investments, and business operations. In doing so, she's driven to help her clients achieve their dreams by utilizing private investors' capital to fund investment properties in Southern California, as well as other major metro areas. Preceding her career in mortgage lending, Sandra received her Bachelor of Arts degree in Gender Studies from the University of Laverne, and completed her master's degree in Global Politics at the University of Southampton in the United Kingdom.
Wow. Love it.
Wow. And her extensive education and internationally renowned studies reflect her passion in best serving and understanding others, which ultimately spurs personal growth and accelerates the success of her clients. So, are you impressed? Because I know I am.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about you.
Yeah, so I want to go ahead and acknowledge my dad. Yes, we are a father-daughter team. So, yes, my dad is my business partner. He's my best friend. He's my accountability partner. I mean, we're a great team. So it's been amazing to work with him. So he has been in the mortgage industry since the 90s. So he's over 25 years of experience, and he's just a great leader. And he's just shared with me, like, hey, after the credit, the financial crisis, unfortunately, we took some bruises, and so he, wanted to say, hey, let's build a company together. And at that time, I was like, sure, Dad, let's do it. I'll help with bookkeeping and help with what I could. But it wasn't until I graduated with my master's from United Kingdom that I came back, and I told my dad, I was like, you know what, I'm going to work with you in the company for like maybe 6 months to a year. After that, I'm really going to take on my feminist roles, because I am a gender studies major, and global politics, I wanted to have impact with women. So anyway, I realized that I wanted to experiment with the company, with Capital Direct. And so what I did, and so after 6 months, I was hooked. I was in love. My dad always thinks that I fell in love with the business, but I fell in love with working with my dad. I love my dad. I think we're a great team, and so I said, me and him against the world, so I'll go ahead and jump in on this endeavor. So up until, I believe, last year, I feel like we're true equals in the business. I had to work myself up to that. And yeah, so now we're growing an amazing company. And I still have impact with women. And right now, I do have my extracurricular activities that I show my love and my passion in. And one of them, it was the NLBWA, the National Latina Business Women's Association, the LA chapter. And then that introduced me to an amazing program that I am an alumni leadership coach for the Dr. Yasmin David's Latina Leadership and Global Executive Program. It's with USC, and it's all about personal development and women empowerment and just getting women from one level to the next.
You guys have any room for guys?
Right now, we're taking applications on a wait list because Dr. Yasmin is amazing and she's creating an amazing curriculum, but we're not there yet. We're right now we have the Latina program, and then we also have just launched the multicultural program. So I say me because it's just a movement and a team of ladies, amazing women that are helping empower ladies. So I love that. So I feel like I've been able to get best of both worlds, where I have my business, where I'm changing the business culture of just private lending, because that in itself, it has, there's not a lot of women in that world, right? Alternative financing, there's just, it's a niche. So the fact that I'm in there, me being me, it's definitely a game changer. So it's been fun exploring the lending world, and also exploring personal development with my volunteer time.
Wow, that's awesome, because you went a completely different way with your career, as in, job choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you still didn't let go of what you're passionate. So it's like you get the best of two worlds,
right?
Because sometimes people go way off there what they went to school for, and then it's fun for a while, but at the end they lose the drive, and they lose that motivation, because it's not what they love, it's not their passion, it's not, and they start losing. I feel like people's spirit dies when you're doing something that you don't truly love, even if it's on the side, but you gotta be doing it. You gotta be doing it.
Yeah, I think to answer more, kind of deep dive into that a little bit more, was that I realized with the Yasmin programs that family was an important value of mine, and building my family company was at the foundation of who I am. And so that when that's strong, then I can give more to others and to do other things that are fulfilling for me in other ways. But fulfillment with my family and fulfillment of building my family company was at my core. So that's why I chose that path.
Priceless.
Mm-hmm.
Priceless. And it's awesome that you could do it. You could work. It's like,
I
it's one of those,
yeah,
that's really awesome. Like, totally awesome. Yeah, and it's one of those, like,
you have your mom that led you into your into your thing, and then you too now, right?
Yeah, it's funny. Actually, that's so funny that you guys all have that in common, because you also have your sisters that your sister does real estate, Stephanie, and
family.
then
Yes.
Family.
yeah, like Stephanie, and then your sister does loan docs, signing, and right, everybody
it's like
does.
a little family
It's like
affair.
everybody does something in the
Yes.
real estate industry. I didn't realize that you guys all had that in common. I think I remembered that at one moment, but I didn't, I forgot your dad too. Very cool. You see?
Nice.
Look, all those parents out there, like, seriously, you can create amazing things with your family. One is you got to stop trying to tell them everything they got to do, because we don't like that. Right? I know, because I've been on both sides. I've learned, but the other is that, we all have something to contribute to each other, and, one person's strong point is someone else's weakness, and you work together, and you elevate each other, you elevate it and complement each other. So it's really awesome, like that, like we're talking about millennials and business and entrepreneurship, but did you see how quickly this evolves? I shared with you earlier. But, we have some comments, so I'm going to go ahead and check really quick what these comments are. I don't know, they have questions, but again, if you joined us, you're watching Transform Your Life with Sandylu and Friends, and today's topic is millennials in business and entrepreneurship. So remember to share, like, and send us your comments and questions. All right, let's see. Julissa Ponte says, this is a great topic. Thank you, Sandylu. You're welcome, Julissa. Thank you for watching. Eugenio Aquino says, great topic. We need to push more young kids to take a successful step in life. I think you don't need to be smart. You just need to be hard work, smart. You just need to be smart. You don't have to be smart. You just need to work hard to reach your goals. Great to see successful stories. Yeah, it's all about commitment beyond convenience, right? Would you guys agree?
Yes.
My sister says hello. She's over there in Victorville. Hope you're feeling better. I love you.
Speaking of family.
Yeah, family, right? You gotta support each other.
Family support.
Yeah, totally. My sister's totally on board. She's yeah. Let's see. Luther Sanchez says, Rigo, I've known you for a while, and we've both been through ups and downs in this business. How do you get yourself up out of the downs?
He's asking some questions.
Yeah,
now.
you want to answer that question before we go to Amanda?
Yes.
Yeah, let's answer that question real quick.
Luther, thank you for that question.
Thanks for your support, right? So I can watch you.
One of the things that has helped me when I've been down, and I have been down, and like Luther said, we've both been down at the same time when the whole market crashed. It was a really tough time. So one of the things that at least helped me was surrounding myself with good quality people that were going to uplift you and support you and encourage you, and most of all believe in you when you kind of lost that belief in yourself. Because when that happened, I really did lose what I thought was my identity. You know, you're doing so good for so long, and that gets stripped away from you, and you're just like, well, if I can't do this, like, who am I? And then you have those people that it's just they encourage you, they bring you up, and they believe in you. That, along with self-improvement, listening to CDs at the time with CDs and even tapes, to
What is that? I'm just kidding.
So a combination of surrounding yourself with good quality people, listening to good quality content, and just staying positive and just keep on pushing. Even though you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel, you gotta have just that blind faith that at the end of every storm, the sun is always gonna shine. And I remind myself of that still daily. I go through challenges in my business and within life, and I just tell myself, like, things are gonna get better. You just gotta keep on pushing, and they do.
That's awesome. Very inspiring. Very inspiring. And one of the things that you mentioned is really key to overcoming those things is definitely having that support system.
Mm-hmm.
People that will stand for you, that will be also that nurturing, that won't judge you,
Mm-hmm.
that are there to say yes you can, and that point out all those gifts that you have, because sometimes when we're in it we don't see them.
Mm-hmm.
And so being around people that are going to uplift us is key. And not only uplift us, but being with people that are also playing that game, the higher level game of entrepreneurship and self-employment and business. Like, you need to be around people like that, because they get the hustle, they get the struggle, the ups and downs, etc.
Or that have been through it, and they just guide you, like, hey, this is normal, this is part of it.
Yes.
So now if that were to happen to me again, I'm like, this is normal, this is part of life. Like, you're gonna go through these adversities.
Mm-hmm. And it's awesome when you have people that have they're already past that mountain, and they can tell you it's okay, like, I've been there, like, and give you some tips, and just
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm there, you're not alone. It's
Yeah.
okay. You're okay. You're it's part of the process.
Exactly.
That's awesome. That's exciting. So anyway, before we go into more comments or questions, let's go ahead and introduce Amanda Barajas. So I've had the privilege of meeting Amanda through the National Latina Businesswomen Association Los Angeles. She's a board member. She's the youngest board member, and it's awesome to have her input. And again, she's a millennial. She thinks differently. She does things differently. She's educated. I mean, there's so much for her to offer to our board. And it's definitely a gift to our board that we have her in the board, because it really helps us balance things out. Because a lot of us are in our 40s in this group, right? I think, if I remember correctly. So we need that young blood in there to give us some input and say, hey, you old ladies. No, I'm kidding.
No, I'm kidding. That's not nice.
We're all young spirited. No, we're all young spirited, power.
We like to say
energy.
wise.
Awesome.
women.
Wise
Super,
women.
yeah, exactly. So it's awesome. And you know what? Before I go into more of Amanda, but the awesome part about Amanda is that she's like super young, and she's putting herself in these environments that call for a bigger game, that they are uncomfortable, right? And there's an expectation, like, you're young, but hey, this still gets to happen. We're playing leadership here, and these things get to happen. So to put yourself in those uncomfortable situations, to put yourself in these environments that support and promote growth, but also community and giving back, is just such an inspiration. I'd love to see more of our youth out there giving back, and our older people, you know who you are, giving back, right? Because when we focus on ourselves so much, we drive ourselves nuts. You want to make yourself crazy, think about you all the time. So anyway, I had to put in my 2 cents, because I really admire that she's so young. If I was your age and I did the things you're doing, like, my life would be very different in my 40s.
You're killing it. You're doing great.
I'm catching up. I'm
Yeah.
catching up. But
Yeah.
you know, it's never too late. You're never too old, and it doesn't matter. You know, as long as we're not in the grave, we could keep going. And
Yes.
and at one day we're gonna end up in the grave, and you decide what kind of legacy you're gonna leave behind.
That's right.
Because we're all gonna leave one.
Mhm.
So consider that. But anyway, Amanda Barajas is a partner and land analyst at JB Development, a construction real estate development company. JB Development operates in Southern California, Wyoming, Nevada, Boston, and Mexico. Amanda is the fourth generation construction developer in her family.
Wow.
Amanda obtains a Bachelor of Science in Planning from Arizona State University. Amanda had the opportunity to work in planning departments in several of the southeast cities in the Los Angeles County and Orange County, where she gained further knowledge in her field and community. From a very young age, Amanda has been an advocate for equal rights and community action. She values policy, culture, and community and entrepreneurship. As a proud Latina, Amanda currently serves as the youngest board member of the directors member of the National Latina Businesswomen Association, Los Angeles. Amanda is a graduate of Dr. Jasmine David's Latina Global Executive Leadership Institute at USC. She completed both entrepreneur programs as well as a millennial program at LGELI.
Yeah.
She was amongst respected high-powered women in business, lawyers, and doctors. She's a member of the American Planning Association Los Angeles, Latinas Golfer Association, Youth Policy Institute, just to name a few. Amanda has been acknowledged by the Assembly member Anthony Rendon, Mayor of the Los Angeles, Eric Garcetti, and politicians from the Southeast cities for her impact and contribution via JV development. Wow. Right? Are you impressed?
Impressive, man.
Man, I'm
That's why I
like
didn't get to
among the
sit right
elite
there.
right here.
Well, we're together. We're together.
Yeah.
Amazing. So tell us more about you. I mean, like land development, analyst, construction, like who does that? Right?
It's funny because I'm really close with my family, and my dad's. My dad has always exposed us because it's construction development, it's construction. He always made sure that my sister and I, it's only my sister and myself, no boys. And my dad always made it a point to take us to the site, to see the buildings, from a piece of land to become like a big building. That's always been like really awesome to me. From dirt to a standing building that still stands to this day, 20-something years later, and that's always been really that I value from that, someone that actually make something physical, it's just great. And then so yeah, he always made sure that we were always engaged in what the business was, and as far as community, as far as giving back to the community, we've always done that, be an advocate and for civil rights. My whole life, I for both, even in construction and even for advocating for the community. My dad was really involved, and in the 90s, all that was going on, the Chicano movement and all that, and I could barely even walk, and my dad would take me to the rally meetings and stuff.
Fun.
Yeah, so I grew up with all that, all those really awesome people, and I've always gave back in whichever way we can. And so it's really all I really knew. And I, as far as going to school, I wanted to do communications and marketing, and I was doing that, and I did a few jobs, and I remember I got advice from one of I happened to be at one of a meeting, and and of course I was the youngest one there, and this man tells me, he's like, oh, because you're the youngest one here, I'm gonna have to know why. So I told him, I like it, I have to know what's going on, and he's like, oh, you have to value experience. He's always told me that. And I think I was 12 then, and of course I was still exposed to being on work sites and all this stuff, and I was like, no, like, and then, like, when I got to college, I would always think about, like, what the man told me, if I experienced really, and I kind of caught on, and I were to expand my experiences and make the most, and, like, when I'm, like, in a situation, I'll just, like, tune in on myself and just be like, I need to absorb everything that's going on right here, because I need to take this with me. And that's why, I don't know, I just try to make the most out of my experiences, for sure.
Is that why you chose your family business? Because you valued the...
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just kind of like stud. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just kind of like...
Because you transitioned from marketing and then you chose your family company.
Yeah, because I seen that, like, like, at the time, like, after, like, the recession,
right,
everyone was building. You know, that was, like, I think I just had graduated high school at that time, and then I was kind of, like, you know, going to school, and people were building, it was a thing.
Right.
And so we got really busy, so then I was like, well, you know, I need to hang out more at the business, you know?
Yeah.
And then I just really liked it. I really liked it, and I just, like, I love the environment, I love the people. Of course, it's not a woman's industry, and that's the fun part, you know? That's why I liked.
I'll show them.
Yeah. And I grew up, I'm a 90s baby, so, like, I grew up with all of, like, watching all those, like, really, like, cool, like, you know, Destiny's Child, watching Charlie's Angels, so I was so inspired then, you know, so I'm like, I need to be, like, this cool woman. So then, like, yeah, that's where I kind of got my little fire.
How old are you, Amanda?
24.
24.
Wow.
Wow. I think how much you've accomplished.
Yes.
Wow. And not just, like, they're not, like, small things. I mean, these are really big things. And so super, like, she's awesome, right? Mm-hmm. She's that quiet presence that's super powerful, that the moment, you know, she's like, does something, it's like big, right? Because I know she tends to be a little bit more reserved, because you're a sponge. You're a sponge.
I'm a sponge.
Yeah. There's a time to listen, there's time to speak. And but anyway, that's really cool that you were, like, in that environment. What is it like for you, though? Because you said that's a cool, you know, being a woman in an environment. Not only are you a woman, so you're a woman, you're a Latina, and you're, like, super young.
Oh yeah.
What is that environment? What is that? How do people react to you? Because we're talking about multi-million-dollar projects, or billion-dollar in some cases.
It kind of, in the beginning, I would get a lot of just kind of like, oh, the assistant, you know, like, oh, you're the assistant. Like, well, in some cases, my little like internships, of course I was, but now it's kind of like, this is me, this is my business, this is my passion, this is what I love, and my life, you know. So you just kind of have to. I had to step out of my comfort zone, which is, like, something that, like, I always challenge myself to do. It's something that's not new to me. And just, like, speak up, this is who I am. Like, you know, like, you approach someone, like, firmly, especially men that are just, like, twice your age, you know, and not Latino, and, you know, multi-million-dollar deals, you know. You just have to kind of, like, just like check in, like, this is what's gonna happen. This is who I am. Like, whether I'm freaking out inside, that's a whole different story. But that's like, you know, I just had to just be that strong person. Yeah.
And it's about trusting yourself, right? I mean, you've been around since you were 12.
Yeah.
I mean, you learned a thing or two even before.
Yeah.
And it's about trusting yourself, because I think that when we're young, people have this thing about, like, oh, you're young, you don't know. Do you guys get that?
Oh, all the time.
Do you get that? I mean, because like, you're
selling.
20.
Yeah,
you're
when I was selling
selling
houses.
You were 20, yeah, I know, and then you're 29 now, and you've been in the industry for a while. But I mean, like, here you're the president, and
I look really young too, so it'd always be kind of like, how old are you? And
what was your experience like?
For me, I was thrown into the networking world, like, really quickly. My father was just like, all right, go for it. Make it happen. And I think that's where it grew, just that confidence, because when you go up and meet so many different people, you're on your feet, right? And you got to perform, and just show that you know what you're talking about, and it's, I guess, a trial and error. I guess over time, little by little, you get more and more confident. So I know for me, I still get nervous, even with this, just being in front. So yeah, it was a great experience because it's grown me to who I am today. So I wouldn't do it any different.
I mean, I can only imagine where you'll be by the time you're 40. I mean, given that, the level of experience. I mean, you're doing hands-on, hardcore work, and you're talking about, homes and, huge loans. And, I mean, that's a huge responsibility for anybody, and you ladies and your age, your ages, that's really impressive. And definitely, I hope you guys are proud of yourself, because you have a lot to be proud of. And it's just the beginning. It's just the beginning.
Yes.
It's a beginning. How about yourself, because you are a male, but you are Latino, and sometimes that people kind of question us when they're not Latinos in our abilities. Doing real estate in your 20s, and compared to now, what is it like?
So when I initially started, by nature, I'm very friendly and very, I'm really good-hearted. So I think people would sense that, and they knew I was young. I attempted, or I don't know how I had, but I had a goatee that I grew out because
you have an advantage.
But it was so thin, it was just super thin. But I had to do things in order for me to look older. But people knew, that would come up, how old are you? And I would tell them, hey, I'm 21, 22, and they would just be but they felt that I genuinely cared, and that I was such a hard worker, and that I would do anything to make it happen. I would, if they didn't have at the time was a fax or whatever, I would drive to their job. I would just do whatever it took.
Fax?
That was
or fax.
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 F-A-X.
What's that again?
It's like a scanner.
Yeah.
Hey, ladies. They're making fun.
I'm just trying to be playful.
I know. You know what? It's so funny, because even me, that I'm going to be 45, God willing, this year.
You mean an e-fax?
It didn't even click
I remember
to me.
when e-faxes came out.
It didn't even click to me that you meant fax, F-A-X. I was thinking F-A-C-T-S. That's what I thought. I'm because I'm a millennial at heart. So I forgot about that.
Well, I was able to see the transition, and I was out there selling houses when there was no Google Maps. There was your Thomas Guide, and I would make a copy of my Thomas Guide, and I would go and show, and I knew that if it was a long day, if I was showing and I had to go through 2 pages, then I was like, man, it's going to be a busy day. So I was able to transition from that to, I'm able to use, I'm pretty savvy with technology. But I didn't really have too much of a challenge, because I came from a place of just wanting to really help a family get into a home. And now, that still comes across. I don't know if I just look younger, but when I meet with somebody, they ask me, but because of my experience, that they don't question it. They're just when I start talking, they're like, how old are you? And I tell them, they're like, wow, you look a little younger than what
you do look younger. Yeah. You do look younger, yeah.
So I've never really had that challenge, just because of the way I would come across. I would
Good intentions.
I would get challenged here and there, but I would educate myself so much in my field of what I would do, that I was able to address whatever issue or concern that they had, and they were just okay, well, we can't really challenge them or.
And I feel like I got tested a lot when I was out, introducing myself to people, and I still think I do. But it doesn't affect me anymore. But I remember being younger, and they test me. They had all these questions about my pricing and everything, and then once I answered all of their questions, you could see that they're like, okay, now we can talk business.
She knows
what I mean? Yeah, and that definitely was present for me a lot, and I still is, but in a different context, because I was younger, I was newer, and I answered all the questions. I was like, Okay, we're good. Okay, we're good. Because
You're like, now can we do business?
Now can we talk business?
Let's get this moving.
Right.
Where I would get challenged more is from my own industry. When I was like dealing with other agents.
Between
like,
agents, there's such a thing.
It's like an ego. They're like,
Well, yeah, because you're negotiating with the other agent, right?
Yeah, and you would see agents more back then, and they would be like, "Hey, where's the agent?" I'm like, "I am the agent." So.
Yeah. You just reminded me of that. I was like, I was tested all the time.
Yeah.
That's
You know your
crazy.
stuff? I know my stuff. Okay, now we can talk business.
That's crazy. That's crazy. But I mean, the thing about it is that I know that you're labeled as millennials, but these kind of things have been happening forever. I remember when I was young, I remember that I was always questioned. I worked in offices. I did accounting. I did HR. I did everything to run a business basically. But I was usually one of the few Latinas or the youngest one, and I hate it when people, like, I could tell that they were holding me small, they were holding me young, they were holding me, there was racism, there was all these different things, and I'm like, I'm doing all these things, I'm handling all these things, like anybody else, I replaced a 50-year-old, like, I know what I'm doing, right? But that whole thing about, oh, you're young, you don't know. How do you feel about that? I know that it used to drive me nuts. I do my best not to ever tell anybody that anymore. Ever. I hated it.
I don't think I've heard that too much anymore.
I remember I would hear
Maybe.
that. Like a few years ago, but now it's kind of like I know my stuff, and they're kind of like, oh well, like they kind of like, oh well, then the type of thing, like they're kind of like, oh well, like I guess she knows her stuff, so I just
A little condescending.
yeah, and I'm just like, okay, cool. Anyways, let's continue.
I think it's like the way you carry yourself. I mean, initially, like you're gonna judge. They're gonna judge you like immediately.
Right.
But and then you have like a conversation, and you're gonna be like, okay, we're not dealing with just an average young person yet.
Yeah, unfortunately, because I mean, I think this kind of goes into a good transition of what millennial word, right? I feel like now we're talking about young first, and then we even talked about being Latino, Latina, and now just being millennial is like a whole other label in itself.
Oh, yeah.
So.
And it's a box, and I think, like I said, one of the reasons I wanted to have this show was because I have gotten called for coaching for people that are older that felt threatened by, with their jobs or bothered by the millennials.
Really?
And I had to coach them through it, and so that sparks interest for me, because I'm like, okay, let me dive more into them. Let me check. Like I started doing more research and looking more into what people's mindset is, or why they're feeling threatened, or what's getting in the way, and how can they make coexist, and how could they work together, and what are people making up about other people without giving them an opportunity, and I'm big about, we got to live out of the box, and we're individuals, and we should really look at that individual as an individual, without judgment, and giving them the opportunity to share who they really are, authentically. Given the opportunity, people want people to know who they really are, right? But we all want to feel safe, and when we're put in a box, and we're put in, you're too young, you're too old, you're too poor, you're not educated, you're too educated, you're skinny, you're fat, you're white, you're brown, you're black, there's no chance to say I'm a human being and I happen to have this valuable information or experiences that I could share with you. So I really want, because I do feel like I get a lot from millennials and people, period. I was like, I gotta have you, I gotta have the show. And so for you guys, there's one of the common things that I hear about millennials is that millennials are entitled. They think they're entitled and they don't want to work. Have you experienced that, or what is your interpretation of that? What is that? What comes up for you?
I have a very firm stand that I want to take right now.
Now's your time. You have the
Here
floor.
it is, okay? Well, one is just like the word millennial. There's a lot of dimensions to words, right? And so one dimension I want to talk about is that the societal one, and where in societal they love to give stereotypes. And I think that's what millennial has turned into. I feel like millennial is just another form of stereotype. It's a new stereotype to give to this generation of people. Like you said, it's human beings that were born from this time to this time are getting this stereotype. And then there's also the side of the other dimension, because as a business owner, I understand the power of a market. So one, I see stereotypes are limiting. And then when you're looking at the word and the label of a market, it's empowering. So it's really, you're right, like how are you looking at, what is the conversation being about, and how is it being carried? And so I like to focus more on the millennial market and the power that we have and the impact that we have, because it's more uplifting, and our perspective is vast, right? It's a wide spectrum. And I think it's tolerant, it's open-minded. We don't want to be put in a box. And so that's where I think maybe if we could talk about our conversation, millennial as a label would be more on the market, the business perspective, which I think is more uplifting, versus talking about stereotypes, because stereotypes, I think, is a never-ending conversation that you can go on every...
Yeah, definitely.
It could go into a negative
Yeah,
spiral.
definitely. And that's why we got to bring up those uncomfortable conversations, because they do exist, and unfortunately, because they do exist, they get in the way of the real, bread and butter, right?
Right.
In the what you can create, and the fact that if I'm in business and I don't take into consideration the millennial generation, which is huge, then I'm going to be out of business.
Behind
really
people,
you know what I
right?
mean?
Yeah.
We gotta look at things for what they are, not what we want them to be. And the reality is, it's all just resistant to change.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes down to it, it's just resistance to change.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing this, and that means I got to do something different to be where you're at, you know what I mean? Or I got to cater to you. And people don't want to change. They want to stay the same. And I think there's there's work harder, but I feel millennials is more like work smarter, like work less and work, but create more.
We're definitely
More
we're more results driven for sure, and we're more like, we want progress. We want balance, right? It's like we have our careers, and every time we talk about it's like, what else are we doing other than our careers, right? I mean, all of the amazing impact you've had on the community, and you have your family, and it's just like we want more. It's not just that career that defines our lives.
Yes.
It's like, it's more on the big spectrum. Like, how are we taking care of, our bodies, our minds, and our soul? It's a lot bigger. Not so much tunnel vision.
Yeah, definitely. And it's it is definitely different than my generation and definitely beyond the generations before me.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that I think that the millennials got it. They got it. They got the idea. I totally get it. Like, I'm all about that, and that's why I have so much admiration. And I'm like, hey, that's why I say I'm a millennial at heart. Like, I really am, because I really look at what you guys have to offer us. I mean, just with your wisdom on technology, and it's that whole less is more, and our generation, or the generations before me, it's all about work hard day and night, all the, like, who cares if I'm not passionate about what I'm doing? It provides the household bills and whatever. None of us are happy in the house, but the bills are getting paid. It's a whole this generation is a different mentality. It is about filling my soul, my purpose, my pocket, my family, my health, saving the world. What do you? I mean, you're kind of like you kind of get both. I think you have like there's an advantage to that. I think if you look at, you're in between. What do you think? Because you've had fax machines, and then now you've had Wi-Fi. And
I'm able to relate to the older generation, because I understand like where they came from, and I'm part of. I'm like 50-50. I understand where they're coming from, and I get their point of view. But and then I admire the younger generation, because I see I never when I speak to someone at my office, I work at a very large office. There's so many agents there, and they're older agents to very young agents, where they're in their early 20s, And I never like, oh, you don't know. No, I listen to their way of thinking, and I'm like, you know what, I can learn from that, because yes, it makes sense. And I think they're amazing. I think I want to say a good 40% of my business comes from a younger generation, like 28 and younger, and they are so efficient. Like, they are on it. I'm just like, wow. And then the other portion of my business is the older generation. I mean, they're on it too, but it's just different. You know, you gotta not explain things more, but they're more like, I want to speak to you. We need to talk about this. And on the phone with the younger generation, you know, their texts and everything's like more immediate. So I'll tell you this, they keep you on your toes. So I'm on my toes, and I feel that makes me a better person, because I got to be like on it. So I admire them.
Yeah, it's really. I think you definitely have that best of the two worlds, because you definitely do have like that experience. And the awesome part about it for you is that you are open to see. I mean, you're a very observant person, and you get the value of people and what they all have to offer. That's why you're so successful, and that's why you weathered the storm, and that's why you're like an amazing role model for your boys. Like, they're very fortunate.
They keep me up to date too.
Oh, they do too.
Yeah. I hear words that they say, and I'm like, I'm gonna use that word next time.
I still know. Some of the words I am like,
this house is saucy.
Anymore, so I have no
saucy
idea.
house.
Like Google.
Feeling Gucci in here.
Oh my gosh. We have some comments, and believe it or not, guys, it's time to wrap up.
Oh my God.
It goes by so quickly.
Wow.
But we gotta have another conversation. We gotta plan another date. But
Okay.
let's say hi to a few people, and then we had some comments and questions. And I'm just gonna go through them really quickly. But I'm gonna request of you guys, if you can go back to the show later and just comment or on some of the questions or comments they might have. That would be awesome. But I just want to go ahead and Luther says, Regal Luther says, no, Sandra. Luther says, thank you for closing his most recent loan.
Awesome. You're welcome. Thank you for the kudos.
Yes. And Alma Valenzuela, she says, love what you're all about, Sandra. And Alma's amazing. And Abraham Lopez asked a question, and maybe we could answer it after too. But he wants to know, how do each of you handle the consistent pressure as an entrepreneur, as a millennium, and something to like really think about it. I mean, because there is pressure, because when you're young, and you are like you guys are lead people in your businesses, and then you're Latino, which could be considered another challenge for some people that.
I feel like for me, I love what was consistent for all of us is we kept saying the point of view. Like, the point of view is what's important, and I think if we're just acknowledging the point of views, I think there's the power to that. And then for my business, our point of view is being niche, right? Isn't that, once you see that, like, it's a millennial thing too, as a generation, like, we're all about specialized. We want that niche. We want more of a specialty, personal brand, right? It's not like the one size fits all doesn't work anymore.
No.
You have to be specialized and more niche and kind of more focused in,
Different.
right? To be more different, and we want that independent type personality or just company to align yourself with, right? So for me, my company is like that because we create customizable solutions for our clients that are considered non-traditional. So literally, my business on an everyday is about the person that is not fitting a box.
Very nice.
Yeah, exactly. And you guys don't want to be in a box.
No,
and it's about being unique, because I mean, it's all about being unique, right? What differentiates you from the next agent?
And I think that's more important now.
I feel like everyone is really embracing uniqueness, and that's so important to be you and to embrace who you are. And that's like that's a big thing now.
Yes.
So. And it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Whatever embracing your uniqueness,
right? It's a good thing.
Yeah. It's so funny, that you say that because, my name is Sandylu, which is not common. But when I was a kid, I wanted to be named Christina because I love that name. It was also my grandmother's name, but I also didn't like my name because nobody had it. And now I love it because it's really rare. Actually, there's no real Sandylus. I haven't seen it. They turned their name into Sandylu, but I'm Sandylu. Sandylu, no capital, all one word, etc.
Oh, it's all one word?
It's all one word.
Oh, wow.
It's Sandylu.
No space, no
No
dash.
space, no capital. Just capital S. That's it. And we gotta embrace our uniqueness and our gifts, and we gotta really, embrace people. Be open to what you can learn from everyone. A threatened person is an insecure person, and so if you feel threatened by anybody in any form or way, then really check in with yourself and do the work that you need to do so that you don't feel that way. And self-development is key to success, and especially nowadays. And in order for us to create a peaceful world, a happy environment, a happy household, work environment, career, etc., we really got to develop ourselves as human beings and create a healthy, loving relationship with ourselves. And it starts with also doing what we love and focusing out, giving back, doing for others, And so it's awesome that everything that you all do is not just about you, but it's about others and making a better place, a better environment, And so all of you that are out there that are watching, I love to take the time to acknowledge everybody. And you're all, there's a few agents that I know that are out there. There's Sylvia Guerrero, Robert Colinjali. He's like one of the top agents right now. Also, Jacqueline Cacho, my brother Joe Guerrero. He's in Vegas. Brother support. You could always count on my sister Lucas and Joe. Rufino Maya, Sarah Salas. Hello, Sarah. She's also big on supporting the community. Erin Solis is another agent at IET Capital. Lupita Mesa. Zaji, which is a rapper. He's a rapper. He's really awesome. Cool guy. Elizabeth Sanchez, Joe Ortiz, Briseida Rios. Briseida is also in the real estate industry. She's a transaction coordinator too. She's awesome. Marianne Solis, thank you, Marianne, for your sponsorship. So thank you, Jade's Fashions in South Pasadena, for providing this beautiful space for us to have. Yes, you got to come back and buy some things. Yes, too bad you're here because I would have get these ladies to buy. This is definitely your style. Yes, and you ladies are very fashionable, so this store is perfect. So thank you, Jade's Fashion, for your sponsorship. Thank you, everyone who watched. We're going to go ahead and answer comments and questions after the show within the next 24 hours. Can we do that? Thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you share, make sure that you like, and stay tuned next week. Transform Your Life with Sandylu and Friends. I'm on every Tuesday evening, God willing. Of course, last week I had to really take care of my body, and so I had a day off, a Tuesday off. But I'm on, I'm here. I love what I do. I love my show. In fact, save the date, April 27th will be my 1-year anniversary show, and I'm looking to have it at a location with guests and a small celebration. So please save the date. We'd love to have you all there. So if you could make it, I would love to have you there. And it's going to be April 27th. More information to follow. I'm working on the details if you want to support in the process or be part of it or be a guest or even sponsor the event. Please reach out to me directly if you would like to know more about my coaching services and my coaching programs or anything that I can support you with. Please also feel free to reach out to me. I'm all about making our world a better place, and I really appreciate you all for being here. I would love for you guys to do last words. What's your last message to our guests before we go?
Last words for you.
Okay. My last words is that I am truly inspired by these two young ladies that are very powerful and very well accomplished, that I feel I could do more and give more of myself. I was inspired by your guys' accomplishments and what you guys are doing and what you guys stand for. So those are my last words, that we all have more in us to do more.
That's awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I guess my last words is one, also to thank you so much for organizing this. This is a lot of fun. It's keeping us on our toes, right? To practice too. This is the new. Speaking of millennials, right? This being on Facebook Live, it's new and it's the new norm, right? This conversation can keep going, and so I'm really excited about that, and I acknowledge you for being forward thinking in that. And I just really want to focus in or leave that seed of thought on, using the label millennial, millennial market versus a stereotype of a millennial, because I think the other stereotype's limiting, so we want it to be uplifting. So that's what I like to leave with everyone.
Thank you, Sandylu, for having this, and I am too very inspired by both of you. And there's a lot more millennials out there that have that little spotlight. So there's a few out there, and it's great to be amongst people. Sometimes I could be very expecting much more from myself, so I'm like, oh, it's okay. It's nothing really much to talk about, but it's nice, and thank you for acknowledging that. And I agree with you. A millennial, it's a market. Just putting us in the box.
Don't put us in the box.
Don't put yourself there. Embrace yourself. Follow your passions. Embrace yourself. Be you. Be unique. Love yourself. And be a nice person.
Be kind to others.
For sure.
That seems to get discredited.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you
Sandy.
so much for being on my show. I really appreciate it. Totally grateful. Had a great time interviewing you all, and thank you for trusting me. I tell people, when I ask people, they're kind of worried, like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna poke at? Yes, I'm a coach, but I don't have. I want to make sure they're comfortable, so I'm not gonna go ahead and process them. But we will. We're working
with the line.
We're working our way there. Yes,
Let me
we
give
are
you a call
definitely.
Yeah, we need to have a call.
The next year coming of Transform Your Life with Sandylu and Friends is definitely going to include some live coaching, right? Live coaching. So anyway, if you're interested in participating in that, you would be making a difference in people's lives by allowing that experience to happen. So anyway, thank you once again, everyone. Thank you for watching. Again, if you just joined us, watch it from the beginning on the replay. Transform Your Life with Sandylu and Friends, Tuesday evenings at 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time at Sandylu Guerrero. Thank you, everyone. Remember that you have a choice. You have the power to choose how you want to live your life from moment to moment. You do have a choice. And thank you to Jade's Fashion. Bye. Have a good evening, everyone. Bye. I'm going to go ahead and walk through the camera. Hopefully, I'm not going to give you guys a show with my dress. But thank you, everyone. Thank you for watching. Love you guys.